Hi guys, I'm in my room. Yeah, I got home early from the concert, which is what the second video today will be about. But yeah, we're gonna film Degrassi episode 10. Now this is where it starts to get a little crazy in Degrassi, because now we're getting into the seasons that have 40-some episodes. And I forgot that season 10 had 44 episodes. I forgot that, and it's awful that I forgot that. But anyway, so trigger warning at the beginning of this video, because the first two episodes we're going to talk about are a very triggering topic that I have gone through myself. Not as bad as our girl Fiona, but I have gone through it, so trigger warning at the beginning of this video. So episode 1 and 2, let me get the stuff up. And I'm using my phone because I am lazy. So here we go. Episode 1, What a Girl Wants, Part 1. It's New Year at Degrassi, and there has been many changes over a short summer. Holly J returns to Degrassi for her senior year with a mission to be student council president, but when Sav decides to run against her, Holly J grows worried when he proves to be popular among the students. There's a lot of typos. Meanwhile, Fiona prepares for a drama-free school year until the new man in her life, Bobby, is not who he seems. Also, Dave makes a list of the hottest Degrassi girls to impress Allie, but there's an error in the computer programming which threatens his friendship with Allie. So, the problem was domestic abuse. It's solved in the next episode, so let's go there. What a Girl Wants, Part 2. Fiona forgives Bobby for hitting her until she finds out he's cheating on her with his ex-girlfriend Tinsley. When was it ever proven that was his ex-girlfriend? Feeling alone, she is left with a difficult decision. Meanwhile, Holly J enlists Anya to fake a pregnancy in order to make Sav quit the election. However, Sav uses it to his benefit and vows to Anya that he will be there for her while she's carrying his child. Also, in order to enact revenge, Allie decides to make a Biggest Losers list and puts Dave at the top. So, domestic abuse. It's not really solved yet. They kind of touch on it more. But first of all, when was it ever proven that Tinsley was Bobby's ex-girlfriend? I don't think that's true. I think that's a mistake. I don't think that was ever said. Episode 3, Breakaway Part 1. Fiona escapes New York and heads back to Toronto. Meanwhile, Anya comes clean to Sav. Also, Jenna starts a vicious rumor after overhearing a delicate conversation between Claire and Allie. So, 3. Domestic abuse, fake a pregnancy, and fake boob job rumor. So Fiona has a heart-to-heart with her mom and tells her, look, I don't want to go back there, like Bobby, whatever. I think it was good for them to have a heart-to-heart with her mom and really, like, tell her that, like, I can't go back there. That wasn't a good thing. So I think that it was good for Fiona to stay at Degrassi, and Holly J being her friend, the reason why she's staying. I think that was really, really good of her to, like, go back to a place where she would have the friend to help her. So episode 4, Breakaway Part 2. After losing the elections, Holly J feels hopeless as she has nothing to help her go to Yale. She decides to turn to SAT prep, but after learning the price, she risks her new friendship with Fiona in order to get it. Meanwhile, Anya and Sav face the difficult decision of telling everyone that they faked her pregnancy. Also, Claire finds out about Jenna's rumor after a rather personal encounter with Wesley. Poor Wesley. So, fake a pregnancy, fake boob job, steals money from a friend. So, Claire stands up to Jenna and tells her off, which I think was the perfect way to do that, because not so much like telling somebody off, but like being able to go to them and be like, hey, I didn't get a boob job, don't spread rumors, like kind of like putting them in their place, kind of. And I think it was good for Claire to have that girl power moment because Claire doesn't have a lot of those. Anya fakes a miscarriage. That was the way to get out of the problem. That was the only way to solve it. Like, either you fake a baby to term or you fake a miscarriage. So I think faking a miscarriage was a good way for her to get out of it. She shouldn't have listened to Holly J and done it in the first place, but... And then Fiona tells Holly J to make up for stealing her money by spending time with her. I do think that is a good way. If your friend doesn't have the money, that they should spend time with you for how much money it would cost. They got to spend that much time with you. But I don't think Holly J should have been forgiven that easily from stealing from Fiona. Because, stealing money is kind of a big thing. Even though Fiona was rich, I feel like she still shouldn't have been forgiven that easy. But I'm not Fiona. So, episode 5. 99 Problems, Part 1. Riley competes with new student Drew for the first quarterback position on the football team. The competition becomes more intense after Drew hears secret conversation between Riley and Zane, which he uses as blackmail. Meanwhile, craving for the true high school experience, Allie tries out for the Spirit Squad, but quickly becomes Shantae's assistant. Also, Casey is becoming more popular with the girls after joining the football team and triggers Jenna's jealousy. So, staying in the closet and hazing. So, it's solved in the next part, so let's read it. 6. 99 Problems, Part 2. The feud between Drew and Riley reach an all-time high, putting his position on the football team and relationship with Zane in jeopardy. Meanwhile, Allie makes a dance troupe to rival the Power Squad, but it quickly backfires. Also, Jenna's jealousy gets the best of her when she searches Casey's phone and finds something interesting. So 6. Staying in the closet and hazing. So, Riley fesses up to the flagpole haze, and I think it was good that Riley said, look, it was me. I don't like how he didn't say that Owen and other people were involved, that he took it upon himself, but I guess that was kind of showing that he was a leader and he was acting like the leader. Yeah, Drew shouldn't have gotten away with it. He's a little hoe. So Drew shouldn't have gotten away with blackmailing Riley. I feel like somebody should have told Drew that, like, that was a shitty thing you were doing, if anybody knew that was going on. And Audra was a bit too much. This is where we first see Drew's mom, Audra, and she was being a bit too much by, like, oh, I'm going to go to the school board. And, like, Audra was just too much. Episode 7, Better Off Alone, Part 1. Casey's mother resurfaces back into his life, and Casey learns the reason why, which upsets him more than excites him. Meanwhile, in English class, Claire struggles with writing about non-vampire topics, leads her to a writing partner, Eli, who convinces her to break out of her shell and express herself. Also, Allie asks Dave for guy advice, but he misunderstands which guy she means. So, parent trying to regain custody. Solved in the next part. And parents fighting. Episode 8, Better Off Alone, Part 2. Casey's resistance at moving back in with his mother leads to lashing out at the wrong people, and the person who helps him pick up the pieces is the last person he expects. Meanwhile, when she's worried that her parents might be heading for divorce, Eli convinces Claire to express her feelings through her writing. Also, Allie considers Dave to be her boyfriend, but that might be news to him. Oh, considers Drew to be her boyfriend. Sorry, not Dave. So Casey ends up coming to stay with his mom. So I really like how Casey decided to give his mom a chance and, like, kind of see that she can be a good mom to him. And the parents fighting is ongoing for Claire. So, Episode 9, I Just Don't Know What to Do With Myself, Part 1. Sav desperately tries to prove to his parents that he's responsible enough to go to a concert, but runs into unforeseen circumstances. Meanwhile, Jenna obsesses over her weight for the upcoming Power Squad calendar photo shoot when she can't fit into her uniform. Also, Fiona's loneliness leads her to an unlikely companion. So, wants to go to a concert on a school night. So, I was always raised that you can go to a concert on a school night if you can wake up for school the next day. Like, that's how I was raised. So I know Sav's parents were a little stricter, but I didn't really understand that. So worried about gaining weight, so she takes diet pills. This is solved in the next part, kind of like that whole thing. But yeah, like, taking diet pills is never the answer. I'm just going to put that out there right now. They also have really gross side effects. 10. I just don't know what to do with myself, part 2. Tired of his parents' strict rules, Sav comes up with the perfect plan in order to take his father's truck out to the concert with Adam and Eli. Meanwhile, Jenna tries diet pills and suffers humiliating results. Also, Fiona's pet pig, Porcelina, messes up her apartment. So, has gross side effects from pills she should not be taking. So, that was kind of the way they solved it. That's to teach you all a lesson. Don't take diet pills, especially ones that aren't prescribed to you. But they can have really, really gross side effects if they are not for you, because you're not meant to take them. Sav gets grounded by, his parents. And I think it was a very good move, because that was him trying to get more respect. And he was going to end up getting more respect from his parents because he was standing up for himself. And I think that's when Sav really grew up, when he stood up to his parents and was like, listen, you guys don't give me enough respect that I deserve. 11. Try Honesty, Part 1. Declan plans a road trip to Yale University, but Holly J, who is still broke, can't afford it. Their relationship is put to the test when she finds a picture of him cozied up with Tinsley. Meanwhile, Eli gets himself involved in a feud with school bully Fitz. Also, Dave, Wesley, and Connor form a band as a way to get girls, but they soon run into an unexpected problem. So, cheating, speculation, Fitz feud, and the Three Tenors band. So the Fitz feud is ongoing. She breaks up with Declan over voicemail, only to take it back because Declan is there. So she breaks up with Declan, and I think that was a good way to do it. If you think somebody's cheating on you, you should definitely try to talk to them. But if they don't want to talk about it, and it kind of seems like they are, maybe breaking up is the best way to go. Try Honesty, Part 2. Declan returns to town and begins offering financial help to Holly J. But when she starts to feel like a kept woman, Holly J must choose between her relationship with Declan and her self-respect. Meanwhile, Eli puts his plan for revenge into effect, starting a war between him and Fitz. Also, Connor and Wesley enlist Sav's help in auto-tuning Dave's horrible singing. Excuse me. 12. So 3 tenors. Boyfriend offering to pay his girlfriend to do what he wants, and the Fitz feud. So the Fitz feud is still ongoing. Sav talks to Dave about auto-tune, then Dave owns it. So I think it was really good for Sav to sit down and have that conversation with him, like, dude, your voice still sounds cool when you put auto-tune on it. That doesn't completely, change you. It's still you. It's just, you but better is how he puts it. And Holly J breaks up with Declan after the lunchtime fiasco when he says, how much do I have to spend before you do what I ask? Which is really stupid, but I think it was good for her to break up with him, to give them a fresh start, to be like, look, I'm not going to take your money. I'm going to do my own thing type of thing. So Episode 13, You Don't Know My Name, Part 1. Ollie wants to be in an official relationship with Drew, and in order to prove that she is worthy of being his girlfriend, she does his history assignment for him. Sav and Holly J work together on a dance for Above the Dot and realize that they may have feelings for each other. Connor met a girl over the internet during an RPG game. So, DTR. So, I know how Allie felt when she's trying to determine the relationship. That's what DTR means. I dated this guy, and I said, well, what are we? Which is what Allie's been saying to Drew. And, he said, I was like, well, are we dating? Are we doing what? And he's like, well, do you want to be dating? I said, yeah. And he said, okay, we're dating. That's kind of like the situation here, and, I don't really like that because that guy wasn't really a good guy that I ended up dating, but whatever. Gaming addiction and meeting someone online. It'll be solved in the next part, so let's read it. Episode 14. You Don't Know My Name, Part 2. Drew realizes how much he likes Allie and attempts to win her back when she starts playing hard to get. Holly J tries to be platonic with Saf, but her heart tells her something else. Wesley and Dave are in for a shock when they find out the actual woman that Connor plans on meeting. So, DTR, gaming addiction and meeting someone online. So, the meeting somebody online is ongoing. The first one is gives her a sticker on her forehead that says Drew's girlfriend, and he has one after their heart-to-heart in the photo booth at the dance. I'm glad that they had a heart-to-heart and actually talked it out. And I like how he had Allie's boyfriend, Drew's girlfriend. That was really, really cute. Because, you know, it was just like, it was really cute that he was willing to do that for her. Episode 15. Transgender bullying and sick mom. So episode 15, My Body's a Cage, Part 1. Adam just wants to be a normal boy in high school, but soon realizes that it'll be impossible when his classmates start finding out he's a trans boy. Leia convinces a suspicious Anya to believe that her mother is having an affair, but discovers that it's even worse. Dave attempts to get on Miss O's good side and decides to do a little research on her. So, 16, same problems. My Body's a Cage, Part 2. After realizing what his life would be like, Adam appeases his family and fellow students by detransitioning back into Degrassi, which, unbeknownst to him, brings back a harmful old habit. Meanwhile, Anya struggles with finding out that her mother has cancer, which comes at a bad time when she has to do a project with two people whom she doesn't want to see, Sav and Holly J. Also, Dave wonders what is wrong with Miss O. So, transgender bullying and sick mom. So, mom has cancer, is ongoing. Claire stops Adam from self-harming, and they have a bonfire to say goodbye to Gracie after a heart-to-heart with mom in the car. So, like, burning things. I think it was good for Adam to have that heart-to-heart with his mom and be like, listen, look, I am Adam. Like, I am your son. Like, this is who I am. If you can't accept that, like, I'm sorry, but, like, that's who I am. And I think that was really good to have that heart-to-heart. Episode 17, Tears Dry on Their Own, Part 1. Allie thinks Jenna is pregnant when she starts showing symptoms, but she's too worried about her audition for Next Teen Star to take these symptoms seriously. Connor reconnects with his older online love, which leaves Wesley and Dave worried. Riley avoids the football team and Zane and hangs out with Anya. So, pregnancy, stranger online, and gay crush. So, Riley won't hang out with Zane because he hides his sexuality. I don't like how that is, but it's solved in the next part, so let's read it. Episode 18, Tears Dry on Their Own, Part 2. Jenna finds out she's pregnant with both of her parents out the picture, and her brother being on the road all the time, she only has KC to rely on, only to be surprised by his response. Meanwhile, Connor secretly contacts his online girlfriend and makes plans to see her. Also, Anya and Riley are both attracted to her mother's doctor and investigate to find out which team he plays. So, pregnancy, stranger online, and gay crush. So, the lady creeps on Connor, and he writes down her license plate, and they call the police. I think that was the best way to do it. If somebody's creeping on you that's much older than you, call the police. Literally, that's the only way that's going to get solved. And, number one, pregnancy is ongoing. And, Zane and Riley talking ongoing with the gay crush. So they're just starting to talk again, but they're not, like, fully back there yet. 19. Still Fighting It, Part 1. Riley attempts to fit in with the guys on the football team, but when he sees how harmless gay jokes affect Zane, he decides it's time to take a stand. Sparks fly between Eli and Claire, but Eli soon gives Claire mixed signals. In exchange for tutelage, Drew helps Wesley to be cool in order to impress Anya. So, gay crush and gay jokes in the locker room, and hot and cold playing. So, Riley goes to a seminar and has a heart-to-heart with Zane about realizing how gay jokes can actually hurt. I think that was the best way to do it. Learn what is, like, how Zayn actually feels about all of it, how it's affecting him. And they the whole football team had pink shirts, which I think was a really cute way to deal with that. And Claire talks to the teacher. I think it was good for Claire to get, you know, an insight from a teacher about what could be going on. Anyway, episode 20, Still Fighting It, Part 2. Riley risks his renewed relationship with Zayn when he violently overreacts to Owen's homophobic comments. Meanwhile, Claire is determined to get to the bottom of Eli's mysterious secret. Also, Drew tries to teach Wesley to be more confident just in time for an eligible bachelor's auction at school. So, homophobic bullying with anger, playing hot and cold. So, Eli talks to Claire about Julia, and I think that was the best thing to do, is Eli to be like, look, this is why I'm closed off from everybody, because this happened with my ex and all of that. And Riley was the highest bidder for Zayn. I think it was good for Riley to bid on Zayn so he can really show Zayn that he was serious about him. And I think that was a really good way to solve that. Excuse me. 21, Purple Pills, Part 1. Fiona becomes stressed when she has to record her testimony against Bobby and self-medicates by drinking champagne, which could put the school's biggest event of the semester in jeopardy. Meanwhile, Riley is finally ready to make his relationship with Zayn official, but he's afraid that coming out might ruin the mood for the upcoming football game. Also, Adam is feeling rejected by Eli now that he is involved with Claire and decides to befriend Fitz. Was that ever a bad idea? 21, so domestic abuse trial, medicating anxiety with alcohol. And Riley unintentionally is coming out. So it's solved in the next part, but number 2, which is medicating anxiety with alcohol, is standing up for herself. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Riley. Standing up for himself with the team. I think it was really good for him to stand up for himself and literally say, yes, I'm gay. Like, basically, what's the big deal is basically what everybody's saying. It's like, okay, so he's gay, so what's the big deal? Episode 22, Purple Pills, Part 2. Fiona continues to drink champagne as a coping mechanism, which could ruin her deposition against Bobby in her exams. Meanwhile, Riley must decide if he's ready to be a poster boy for gay athletes when he is scouted for college football. Also, Adam doesn't like the way Fitz treats him and decides to do something about it. So, 22, alcohol medicating, Fitz pretending to befriend Adam. So Adam fighting Fitz, which I don't think is the best way to deal with that, because if somebody gets under your skin, kind of just ignore them. Riley talks to Coach Armstrong about being gay and playing football. I do like how Riley decided to open up to Coach Armstrong and have that hard conversation. That meant Riley was really thinking about his future. Fiona's mom sends her to rehab. I think that was the best way to go, because if somebody is drinking alcohol, they do need help. It is an addiction. It is a mental disorder. It is something that somebody needs help with, and they're not just going to get better on their own. Riley also kisses Zayn at the end after being accepted into Eastern, and I really thought that was really cute. And Fiona kills the deposition at the end. I think she was really, like, once she got sober, she was really in the best mindset, and she was ready to stick it to her abusive ex, and it was great. 23, All Falls Down, Part 1. When Bianca begins flirting with him, Drew must decide whether to remain faithful to his girlfriend Allie or to give in to temptation. Claire has had enough of the Eli-Fitz rivalry and decides to put a stop to it. Sav and Holly J have to convince Mr. Simpson to ignore the PTA ruling to cancel the Night in Vegas dance by promising to keep the event trouble-free. So, cheating, oral sex, and Fitz ongoing. So, the blame for the stink bomb. I don't think that Eli should have blamed Fitz for the stink bomb, because that was just going to make things worse, but everything else will be solved in the next part, so let's go. 24, All Falls Down, Part 2. Degrassi will never be the same after the Night in Vegas dance. 2 relationships will be jeopardized, 2 students risk everything to sneak out for a secret rendezvous, and a long-standing feud escalates into serious, possible fatal violence. So, cheating, oral sex, and Fitz feud. So, Drew goes and finds Allie to talk. I think it was good for Drew to talk to Allie, but he should have just fessed up to cheating. Like, literally, oral sex, cheating. Like, I don't know how people don't see that as the same thing. Like, they're cheating, but whatever. Fitz pulls a knife on Eli, but doesn't stab him. I think it was good that Fitz didn't stab him, but still, Fitz pulling a knife, that's obviously not the way to deal with our problems. But sometimes people feel that desperate, and that's really sad. Episode 25, Don't Let Me Get Me, Part 1. When the students return from winter break, they discover that Degrassi has been subject to a significant disciplinary crackdown. Meanwhile, Allie must deal with the rumor that she is a harlot at the school on Vegas night. Additionally, Jenna feels pressure to tell a sad tale in order to win votes on Next Teen Star. So, Cheater wants a second chance, pregnancy public reveal. So, Allie puts Drew on probation. I thought that was a bad idea because he cheated. I mean, Drew's probably just going to cheat again. I mean, if he got an offer from Bianca and took it, how many other girls do you think he'd take an offer from? And the second one is solved in the next part. So 26, Don't Let Me Get Me, Part 2. Allie's turbulent freshman year comes back to haunt her, threatening her relationship with her parents. Jenna is currently having to deal with the idea that she will soon become a teen mother after declaring her pregnancy on Next Teen Star. Naked photos distributed equals fight, and pregnancy ongoing, and parental disappointment over mistakes. So, Allie goes to see the principal for punishment. Of course, if you distribute somebody's naked photos, or if your naked photos are distributed, the people who are responsible have to go to the office. Parents read the file. I do agree with how Simpson didn't want to show the parents the file because it's really none of their business, but of course his hands were kind of tied. Casey and Mom talked to Jenna. I think it was really good that they were going to try to have that conversation with her, like, do you know how much work a baby is? And then Jenna and the mom have a heart-to-heart, and I really like that they have a heart-to-heart, that she's like, what kind of grandma would I be if I wasn't there, you know? And I think it's really nice that they connect that way. And Allie transfers to an all-girls school for no distraction, and I think maybe that was one of the best ideas Allie had. Maybe it didn't go exactly the way she wanted it, but it was a good idea in theory. So, Episode 27, Love Lockdown, Part 1. Declan has returned to Toronto from New York in order to attend the Grundy Awards and perhaps reclaim Holly J. Meanwhile, Claire's parents have decided to have the dreaded family talk on the same night as their first actual date with Eli. Shantae also makes an effort to maintain the power squad. So, tries to win back X, trying to get clubs back, and parents fighting. So it's all solved in the next part. So let's go. 28, Love Lockdown, Part 2. Holly J feels conflicted about what she did with Declan at his party and isn't sure if it was a stupid judgment or something worse, like rape. Meanwhile, Claire utilizes her newfound rebelliousness and her dark boyfriend Eli to find common ground with her parents and bring them back together. Also, after learning about the other clubs, Shantae rallies everyone to take a stand against Mr. Simpson. Tries to get back X and sex not wanted. So, trying to get clubs back and parents fighting. So, Holly J talks to Fiona, who talks to Declan. So, it was good that she talked to Fiona, and then they passed the message off to Declan so that he knew that that's not exactly what Holly J wanted to do. And Shantae putting sticky notes all over Simpson's car. That is one way to send a message. That way Simpson gets the message that they want their clubs back, and they're really, really upset about it. And I think that was a good way to send a message. And Claire's parents tell her that they're getting divorced. And that was a really heartbreaking thing for Claire, but I'm glad her parents were grown up enough to discuss it and talk about it. And Declan and Holly J talk about what happened last night, and I think it was really good for them to have that discussion. 29, Umbrella, Part 1. Claire's parents are divorcing whether she likes it or not. Feeling totally uneasy and irrelevant in her own home, she's despondent. But Eli's parents have a strange offer. Meanwhile, Drew and Adam run a food drive and ask Fiona to volunteer, but both are attracted to her and try to flirt with her. Also, Dave's police officer father is stationed at Degrassi, and Wes does not understand why Dave is embarrassed. So parents splitting up and selling house, hoarding problem, doesn't want people to know that the parent is a police. So that's all solved in the next part. So 30, Umbrella Part 2. Claire and Eli's differences continue to clash, but she soon discovers a shocking answer to all of her questions about Eli. Meanwhile, Adam continues to grow jealous of the flirting between Drew and Fiona. Also, Dave will do anything he can to prove to his new friends that he's nothing like his dad, even if he hurts Wesley in the process. So parents decide Claire can keep the house to help her cope. I think that was really good that the parents decided, okay, look, we're going to let you keep this house because you need some stability to cope with what's going on. And I like, hard to heart with mom. Eli has a heart-to-heart with his mom and decides to go to counseling. And I think that's really good. He wants to fix, like, whatever problem he's having. He knows there's a problem and he wants to fix it. And Wesley gets Dave back by purple nurpling him after Dave tases him. I don't agree with Dave tasing him. Obviously, that's horrible. But I like how Wesley decided to do something as silly as a purple nurple to get him back, where it hurts, but it's not actually hurting him. Wes is definitely a good friend for doing that. 31. Halo Part 1. Jenna feels alone in her pregnancy, but finds that Sav is the one guy that is willing to give his time for her. True, he's dating Holly J, but that won't stop Jenna. Meanwhile, Casey and Drew like the same girl. Also, Wesley and Anya plan their date, but he begins to worry about premature ejaculation after having a wet dream. And Adam tries to impress Fiona after she begins missing dances in New York. So, secret party for special someone, problems with erection, try to steal boyfriend. So, the secret party is solved in the next part. The problems with erection took pills for the wrong situation. So he took pills that are meant to last in bed instead of, whatever. And I think that's a bad idea. Never take pills if you don't know exactly what they're for. Never take pills that you just find on the internet that could be a solution. Always talk to your doctor. And Jenna kisses Sav and tells Holly J that she's going to steal Sav. I don't think that was the way to go. You can have a crush on someone, but if you find out that they're dating somebody, that's when you should not say you're going to steal them. That's when you should back off. Because it's never a good idea to try to steal someone's boyfriend. Okay. 32. Halo Part 2. Jenna puts Sav and Holly G's relationship in jeopardy when she attempts to steal Sav away, and all the while Casey begins having feelings for Jenna again. Meanwhile, Wesley's little problem erupts when he purchases a sexual endurance drug for his date with Anya. Meanwhile, Adam, with the help of Claire and Eli, organizes a secret party for Degrassi students with the intention of impressing Fiona. So, same problems. Next episode, a little ongoing till he talks to Fiona, so that'll be solved in the next episode. They went to the ER to get Wesley checked out, which was a good idea. Make sure to go to the hospital if you don't know what's going wrong with your body. And gets Holly J to talk to Sav. I think it was good that they got them to talk out what was going on, that Jenna was trying to steal him, because Jenna, just talking it out was the good way to go. 33. When Love Takes Over, Part 1. It's Sweetheart Week at Degrassi. Meanwhile, Adam and Fiona begin to reconnect when he suggests she try out for a part in the school play. Also, after Anya's mother's cancer has disappeared, Anya pursues a relationship with the 8 years older doctor. And Dave meets Sadie, and they make a date, but he finds out she is much taller than him. So, cancer results, pining for doctor, Fiona dilemma, and drinking. So, Anya's mom is cancer-free, which is good. And Adam talked to Fiona about why she didn't go to the party. I think it was good for Adam to have that talk with Fiona about, well, why didn't you come to my party, you know, because you said that maybe you were going to make an appearance and you didn't, and I was really upset because I kind of threw that party because you were missing your New York parties, and it was something he was doing for her, so, you know, he was kind of bummed that she wasn't there. 34, When Love Takes Over, Part 2. Adam is in denial when it becomes obvious that Fiona has a drinking problem. I just said Adam is denial. And soon has to make a difficult decision regarding her health. Meanwhile, Anya begins to feel guilty, but she continues to lie about her age to Dr. Chris. Also, Dave attempts to apologize to Sadie about the comments he made. It shouldn't matter that somebody's taller than you, but anyway. 34, Same problems. So, intervention for rehab. I really like that they had that intervention to send Fiona to rehab, because Fiona definitely needed to get her drinking under control, like absolutely, like at the point. And Anya's mom found out what she was doing and she shut it down. And I think that was really good for her to be looking after her daughter and be like, you shouldn't be lying about your age. You shouldn't be doing this. This is not safe. This is not good. This is not, like, okay. When they were saying that, oh, we'll talk again in 9 months when she turns 18, that's bullshit. Like, do not do that. It's still kind of weird and predatory, and no, I don't like it. Episode 35, The Way We Get By, Part 1. Despite helping the basketball team win, Drew finds out he's not as popular with the girls as he was last semester due to what he did with Bianca. Meanwhile, after some hesitation to do something in which Zane is interested, Riley attends an art showing with him. Also, Allie has trouble making friends at her all-girls school. So, reputation ruined, trouble at new school for something a friend did. So, it's solved in the next part. So, let's read it. 36, The Way We Get By, Part 2. Drew attempts to get his friends to accept Bianca, but he soon realizes that she may not be as bad as everyone thinks. Meanwhile, Riley does his best to make his mother accept that he's gay. Also, Allie continues to be surprised by Malika's bad girl ways. So, we add drugs and coming out or trying to. So, 2. Smoking, but it's Malika's cigarette. More trouble. So I think it was really rude of Malika to try to blame Allie when she asked Allie to hold her cigarette, but I do think Allie should have put it out when Malika said to put it out. But yeah, I really do think Malika was an awful person for making Allie take the blame when it wasn't Allie's. Drew stands up for Bianca. I really think it was good that Drew stood up for Bianca. I think that he was really starting to show that he was a good person and that he was really there for somebody that he liked. Drew gets grounded. Of course, if he's taking mushrooms or like any type of drug, he's going to get grounded. So I think obviously Audra made the best decision, which was grounding Drew. Riley tries to talk to his mom and it's ongoing, but I do like how he's trying to tell his mom, you know, he doesn't want to hide who he is anymore. 37, Jesus, etc., Part 1. A newly religious Fitz has been released from juvie and desperately wants to apologize to Claire and Eli, which causes problems in their relationship when Claire thinks Eli has become too controlling. Meanwhile, Sav has to compose an original song to submit to the music conservatory and needs a drummer. After choosing Drew, Sav must hide his betrayal from Allie. Also, Jenna wants to focus all her attention on learning everything she can about babies, and Casey isn't exactly helping things. So, Enemy comes back and wants to talk, fight with parents, ongoing, so in the next part it'll be solved. 38, Jesus, etc., Part 2. Fitz continues to talk to Claire about his newfound faith and sends her numerous emails throughout the night. Claire also begins to see Eli's true colors. Meanwhile, Sav is unsure if Allie's disappearance is part of an attention-seeking stunt or cause for alarm. Also, Casey and Jenna babysit a 6-year-old to test their parenting readiness. So, missing, Enemy comes back and babysitting. So, missing is solved in the next part. Enemy comes back, talks to Eli and explains the situation. So, I like how Claire had the talk with Eli, like, look, Fitz was just talking to me. I wasn't going to do anything that, like, that was going to make me unsafe or, like, all that other stuff. And babysitting. Realizing that they could choose their own style of parenting. I think it was good for them to realize, you know, everybody parents differently. They're going to have a different style than the lady who raises her child, which Of course, the lady who raises her child like that, I feel bad for her child, Caleb. Episode 39, Hide and Seek, Part 1. As Holly J and Shantae prepare to do a work study for a city counselor, Holly J begins to feel extremely tired and sick and wonders if something is really wrong with her. Meanwhile, Allie is staying at Toronto University with her ex-boyfriend Johnny and makes plans to run away to Vancouver. Also, Wesley realizes that he hasn't accomplished anything he set out to do and decides to set a world record in pogo stick jumping. So, missing and sickness. So, Allie is with Johnny for now, solving the next part, and I think it's really good that she went and stayed with somebody that she knew and could trust, which is usually what a lot of people do when they're like running away type of thing. And sickness will be solved in the next part. Episode 40, Hide and Seek, Part 2. Holly J's list of symptoms are getting longer and more dangerous as she ignores her friend's pleas to seek help. Meanwhile, Allie tries to leave Toronto but realizes it'll be hard to survive on her own. Also, Wesley makes his attempt to set the Guinness World Record for most pogo stick jumps in a 24-hour period. So, missing and sickness. So, Allie talks to her parents and makes a plan to fix things. I think it was really good that she came back and had a hard talk with her parents about, listen, to get to university, I need to make it through more years here, so we're going to have to set some ground rules. And sickness. Goes to the hospital after she pees herself. I think that she should have stayed in the hospital when she was there, when she passed out at school. But nobody's going to listen to me, but I really think that Holly J should have stayed there, and then she wouldn't have peed herself, and she wouldn't have had that issue. 41, Chasing Pavements, Part 1. Fiona has successfully completed inpatient rehab, and she's feeling stronger and in control, but soon struggles with her sobriety when her court trial against Bobby arrives. Meanwhile, Allie is back at Degrassi, and to keep her mind off Drew, she prepares for a standardized math exam. Also, Anya gets stuck with Owen for a partner in CPR class and grows uncomfortable with the way he touches her. 1. Trial, in love with friend, and sexual harassment. I'm just talking lower because my dad just went up to his room. So the first part, Wynn's trial, because Tinsley helps by telling a story. So I think it was really good for Tinsley to really feel the line that Fiona said where she said, no girl deserves to be abused. And I think it was really good for Tinsley to hear that, because then Tinsley told the story about Bobby that was going to help Fiona get justice, and I really like how they had Tinsley do that for her. And in love with friend, it'll be solved in the next part. And number 3, sexual harassment. So she talks to Owen, and I think that was good. But then she stands up to him when he tries to do it again at the dot, when he tries to like grab her or whatever. And so I think it's really good that Anya kept standing her ground and standing up to Owen, and it's like, you can't just do this. 42, Chasing Pavements, Part 2. Fiona questions her feelings for Adam while also beginning to see Holly J in a different light. Meanwhile, Allie promises a 10th grade class a school dance if they do well in the math exam and helps everyone study. Also, Anya begins to feel bad for getting Owen kicked out of CPR class. So, in love with friend and good grades for a dance. So, Fiona talks to her mom about feelings, and Fiona talks to her mom about her feelings, which I think was really good. Which I think was a really good thing for her to do, because, you know, you gotta talk out your feelings. You gotta talk out your feelings when you're feeling them so that they don't get worse. I just closed my door. And, she comes out to Holly J as lesbian, which is really, really good. I'm glad that she felt comfortable to tell her best girlfriend that. They also get the dance, and the tutoring worked, which was good. I'm glad that they did tutoring, because that's like the best way if you don't understand something to get the help that you need. Episode 43, Drop the World, Part 1. Eli is getting increasingly tense about his and Claire's need for togetherness, which begins to creep her out. Meanwhile, Holly J realizes that she's getting bored with her relationship with Sav and tries to figure out a gentle way to break up with him. Also, Jenna worries that Casey's apartment won't be ready for the baby and freaks out after he does not set up the crib when he said he would. You told me to play basketball. 43. Possessive boyfriend, in love with friend, and not feeling love. So, Holly J broke up with Sav because she wasn't feeling it. And if you're not feeling in love with your partner anymore, you should definitely talk to them about it. And then if things like don't change or whatever, you should break up with them because that's just not going to be a good relationship. Episode 44, Drop the World, Part 2. As spring break comes near, Claire and Eli's relationship is on thin ice as it reaches the heights of danger. Also, Jenna goes into labor at the dance while Casey parties with friends at his apartment. So, same two problems, and the baby's born. So, she breaks up with Eli because of how possessive he is, which I think is a good thing because you don't want to be with somebody who's like super possessive over you. I had a boyfriend that was like Eli. That's why watching their breakup scene is triggering for me because that's exactly how Dagger acted every time we were going to break up. And being in love with friend, Fiona talks to Holly J. They both talk it out. I think it's really good that they had the talk about it because that way that they can figure out what exactly is going on. And just a bonus, Casey and Jenna have a super cute baby. Anyway, so it's very late. I'm gonna go to bed. It's midnight. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!